Have you ever wondered why your relationship with your father was always difficult, maybe even toxic? What if I told you that this was no accident but an essential part of your spiritual journey? Chosen one, this experience has shaped you for something much greater. You were destined to rise higher. Every tear, every conflict, every painful word had a purpose, and in this video, I will show you exactly what that is. By the end of this video, you will understand that the person who may have held you back was, in a way, the very one who pushed you toward your highest potential. So stay with me, because we are about to uncover a truth that will not only set you free but also empower you to reach heights you never imagined. First, let's talk about toxic relationships, especially with a father figure. It's easy to feel crushed by the emotional and psychological burden of such relationships. You may have spent years questioning yourself, wondering what you did wrong, why you weren't enough, or why you couldn't earn his approval. But here's the truth, this toxicity was never about you. Your father's actions, his harsh words, his neglect, his inability to show love, none of it defined your worth. Instead, this experience was a test, a necessary obstacle to help you see beyond earthly validation and recognition. Imagine this. If everything had come easily to you, if you had been shielded from every pain, would you ever have become the powerful, unstoppable force you are today? The struggles, the toxicity, they shaped you. They forced you to look inward, to find your own strength, to rise higher. The role of the father in spiritual awakening. Now let's talk about the role of the father in your spiritual awakening. In many spiritual traditions, the father symbolizes authority, guidance, and stability. But when this figure is absent or, worse, toxic, that natural order is disrupted. For the chosen ones, however, this disruption is often the trigger for deep spiritual transformation. When a father fails to give you the love or support you need, an empty space is created. But in that space, something incredible happens. You begin to look within. You start questioning the structures you were taught to rely on, and instead of depending on others, you learn to depend on your own inner guidance. You realize that the source of love and validation does not come from outside figures but from within. In a way, your toxic relationship with your father was a trigger, a painful but necessary event to push you into spiritual self-reliance. It taught you not to seek validation from others but to recognize your own inner worth. And that is what it means to rise higher. Breaking the generational cycle. Another important point we need to understand is the concept of breaking generational cycles. Many of you may come from a long line of dysfunction or toxicity in your family. It's as though the same emotional wounds are passed down from one generation to the next. But you, chosen one, were sent here to break this cycle. Your experience with your father may have been difficult, but you have the power to end this pattern. You don't have to pass it on to your children or let it define your future relationships. In fact, your journey is about healing not just yourself but also those who came before you. You were chosen to rise above the pain and transform it into something beautiful and powerful. And remember, breaking this cycle doesn't mean holding on to anger or bitterness. It's about understanding that your father, too, was shaped by his own experiences, his own traumas. This doesn't excuse the harm caused, but it allows you to step into a state of forgiveness and healing. You are the chain breaker, chosen one, and that is why your journey has been so challenging. You were destined to do something no one before you could. Rising higher, turning pain into power. Now that we've talked about why these challenges exist, let's talk about how you can rise higher. How do you take all the pain, all the suffering, and use it to fuel your spiritual growth? First, acknowledge that this pain was part of your destiny. It prepared you for something greater. Every time you were disappointed, every time you felt rejected, your spirit was strengthened. You learned how to stand tall on your own, how to set boundaries, and how to recognize your own strength. And that strength is something no one can take from you. Second, understand that you are not alone. Many chosen ones have walked this path before you, and many will walk it after you. What sets you apart is your ability to rise above the pain, to see beyond the surface, and to use these challenges as a springboard for your spiritual awakening. You are here to become more than what others told you you could be. This is your time, chosen one. You have walked through the fire, but now it is time to rise from the ashes. The universe has prepared you, tested you, shaped you, and now you are ready for the next level. Forgiveness as the path to freedom. One of the most powerful steps you can take on this journey is forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean that you approve of what happened. It does not mean you absolve someone of their actions. What it means is that you choose to release the power of the past over you. When you forgive, you free yourself. You allow yourself to move forward without the weight of resentment or anger. You can finally step into your full power without being held back by old wounds. Forgiving your father or another toxic person in your life is undoubtedly one of the hardest tasks you will face on your spiritual journey. The weight of emotional scars, the memories of pain, rejection, and conflict can feel impossible to release. Many of you may have spent years, even decades, carrying the burden of resentment and anger toward the person who was supposed to protect you. This anger often feels justified as you replay the moments of neglect or emotional abuse in your mind. You wonder why you should forgive someone who never acknowledged the pain they caused, and that is completely understandable. But here's the spiritual truth: forgiveness is not about letting the other person off the hook for their mistakes. It's not about pretending the pain never happened or minimizing its impact on your life. Forgiveness is for you. It is a profound act of self-liberation, where you choose to release yourself from the emotional chains that bind you to your past. As long as you hold on to that pain, you are tied to the person or situation that hurt you. You may find yourself trapped in the same patterns of pain and anger, allowing it to color your future relationships and experiences. When you finally choose to forgive, you are telling the universe that you are ready to grow beyond the wounded inner self and step fully into the conscious, powerful being you are meant to be. Forgiveness does not erase the past, but it redefines your future. It is a declaration that you will no longer be defined by the pain others inflicted upon you, that you will not allow their actions to determine your self-worth or destiny. By choosing forgiveness, you reclaim your power, and in that moment, you begin to rise, higher and stronger than ever before. Chosen ones, you were not placed in this life to remain small, to be held back by the pain of the past. The wounds inflicted on you by your father or another toxic person were never meant to break you, they were meant to shape you. Every tear you've shed, every sleepless night you've endured, and every moment you felt misunderstood or unloved was not in vain. They have prepared you for something greater. The universe uses challenges, especially those rooted in deep, personal relationships, to test your resilience, to forge your inner strength, and to awaken your spiritual potential. Your father may have been toxic for a reason, and while that reason is not immediately clear, it was always part of a larger, cosmic plan. When you are chosen, when you have a divine purpose, life often places you in the hardest circumstances, especially in the places where you expect the most love and safety. These challenges are not meant to destroy you but to push you into becoming the strong, powerful being you are today. Through these trials, you learn to stand on your own, to cultivate your inner wisdom, and to find strength in places you never thought it existed. You were destined to rise higher, to break free from the chains of your past, and to step into the fullness of your spiritual power. You are not meant to remain in the shadow of your wounds, you are meant to turn that pain into your greatest source of strength. In the moment you decide to free yourself, to let go of the pain that no longer serves you, you step into a new awareness. You begin to see that every trial, every moment of hardship, was a step on the path to your higher self. It is time to shed the weight of your past and step into your true, divine power. Your time is now. So take this message as a reminder: everything that happened to you happened for you. The pain was real, but so is your strength. You are here to rise, to transform, and to lead others out of the darkness. You are not alone. You are chosen. And your time is now. Imagine this: your daily life suddenly feels unfamiliar. The routines you once followed seem empty, relationships feel different, and the things that once brought comfort now feel distant and almost irrelevant. It's as though a veil has been lifted and something beneath the surface becomes visible that you hadn't seen before. This is a moment of transformation. It is what many call a spiritual awakening, at once beautiful and frightening. You awaken to a deeper version of yourself, a journey of self-discovery that questions the very foundations of what you thought you knew about yourself. And in this awakening, there are things, habits, beliefs, attachments, that spiritual souls slowly begin to let go of. Today we dive deep into the 6 things that spiritual souls gradually release as they awaken to their true essence. Each release brings them closer to authenticity, inner peace, and a life that feels aligned. So let's begin, the 6 things spiritually awakened souls give up over time as they embrace their journey. From an early age, society teaches us to seek recognition. We look for likes on social media, praise from colleagues, approval from friends and family. External validation becomes the measure of our worth. But as spiritual souls awaken, they gradually realize that this validation is empty. They begin to seek their own recognition within themselves and let go of the need for others to define their value. In this shift lies deep liberation. Imagine no longer needing to prove yourself or depending on others for approval. By finding peace within themselves, spiritual souls free themselves from the burden of constantly seeking recognition. They realize that true happiness and self-worth have always been within them, waiting to be embraced. We live in a world that glorifies possessions, a world where success is measured by what we own. From an early age, we are bombarded with messages equating material wealth with personal value and happiness. Media and advertising constantly reinforce the idea that a bigger house, a faster car, or the latest gadget is the ultimate symbol of success. Society sets us in a relentless race of accumulation, creating the illusion that owning more will fulfill us, bring status, and make us whole. But as spiritual souls begin to awaken, they see the emptiness behind this material chase. For spiritual souls, a new understanding arises that stands in contrast to the world's obsession with material wealth. They begin to see that true abundance does not lie in the things they own or the brands they wear. Instead, it is found in the intangible, the love they share, the experiences that fill their hearts, and the peace they cultivate within. This shift in perspective is profound, as it redefines what it means to live a rich and fulfilling life. Rather than endlessly collecting possessions, they seek a life full of meaning, joy, and depth, recognizing these as the true markers of success. On their path, spiritual souls begin to declutter and release the need to constantly own more. This letting go is both physical and mental, as they clear their spaces and free their minds from attachment to things that add no real value to their lives. They find joy in simplicity, delighting in the richness of experiences and relationships that touch their spirit. This newfound appreciation for life's simplicity allows them to live in a way that is both sustainable and deeply nourishing. By placing personal growth, connection, and joy above material gain, they free themselves from societal pressure and embrace a lifestyle that feels genuine and fulfilling. Fear drives us to control every aspect of our lives. We plan, worry, and try to manipulate outcomes, believing that we can only feel safe by holding on tightly. But over time, spiritual souls discover the beauty of surrender. They come to understand that life has its own timing and wisdom. There is peace in releasing the need for control. Imagine no longer needing to know what comes next. Imagine trusting the flow of life and embracing each moment without trying to manipulate it. Spiritual souls learn to trust divine timing and understand that some of life's greatest gifts come when we let go and allow things to unfold naturally. In releasing control, they find a profound sense of peace. Awakening also means re-evaluating the relationships in one's life. Spiritual souls begin to notice which connections uplift them and which drain them. They realize that some relationships limit growth, bring negativity, or hold them back from their authentic selves. And so, they gradually let go of these toxic ties, even when it's difficult. By stepping away from negativity, they create space for like-minded, supportive souls to enter their lives. They surround themselves with people who inspire, encourage, and understand their path. By letting go of toxic relationships, they create an environment that nurtures growth, peace, and authenticity. Society pressures us to conform, to wear masks, and to behave in ways that are acceptable or normal. From early on, we are taught to shape ourselves according to the standards of family, friends, or broader social expectations. This conditioning can feel restrictive to spiritual souls, as it suppresses their true essence and buries their uniqueness beneath layers of conformity. They are told to pursue certain goals, adopt certain behaviors, and value fitting in over being true to themselves, leading to a life that feels scripted rather than lived authentically. But when spiritual souls begin to awaken, they see through this illusion. They recognize that conformity is only a mask, a shield that prevents people from embracing their full, unfiltered identity. This realization brings a profound shift as they start questioning the need for external approval. Spiritual souls see that their worth is not dependent on society's acceptance, and that the more they try to fit in, the further they drift from their authentic self. In this awakening, they find the courage to break free from societal expectations, shed layers of falseness, and reveal their inner truth. This path is not without challenges, for stepping away from social norms can be intimidating. Yet spiritual souls understand that the greatest gift they can give the world is their true, unfiltered, uncompromising self. They learn to value honesty with themselves over approval, to choose authenticity over acceptance. They stop compromising and realize that the world responds more positively to genuine self-expression than to conformity. By embodying their true essence, they become a source of inspiration and radiate a freedom that others can feel and aspire to. There is deep joy in embracing the true self and living authentically. When someone stops hiding behind facades, they step into a world that feels infinitely more colorful, rich, and fulfilling. They discover that authenticity brings undeniable joy, as they no longer waste energy pretending to be what they are not. Every action, every word, every choice becomes a reflection of their true self, making life less burdensome and more an expression of their inner spirit. This joy is not fleeting, but a lasting sense of fulfillment that enriches every aspect of their life. By letting go of the fear of death, they allow themselves to fully embrace life. Every moment becomes precious, and they learn to live with heightened awareness. By accepting mortality, they feel more alive, more grateful, and more deeply connected with every breath and every heartbeat. So here they are, the 6 things spiritually awakened souls give up as they awaken to their true essence: the need for validation, attachment to material possessions, the need for control, toxic relationships, compromising their authentic self, and the fear of death. Each release brings them closer to their core, to a life rich with peace and meaning. Remember, this path is personal, and each of us is exactly where we need to be. Be patient with yourself, show compassion, and embrace every step of this journey. If you found something here that resonated with you, give this video a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe for more insights on your path to inner peace and spiritual growth. And don't forget to write 777 in the comments to affirm your commitment to this path. We are on this journey together.